Welcome to the first episode of 0 to 100 of Guitar series. In this episode, I want to teach you the fundamentals of the guitar, how it produces the sound, how we can change the sound, what causes the changes in the sound, and what parts make this music tool. Okay, first we have 6 strings that are held between 2 supports, and they have similar length. The string numberings are from below: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The material of the first 3 strings are nylon, and the 3 strings above commonly have nickel or chrome coating. So the material of first 3 strings are different from 3 strings above. In this episode, I'm talking about nylon guitars. Okay, how the sound changes in the guitar. We have 4 fundamentals. The first one, the diameter of the strings. Let's talk about the nylon strings. First string have the least diameter. Then second string is a little bit thicker, and the third string is the thicker among the nylon strings. So the more thicker the string goes, the more bassier the sound gets. Let's have a try. The first string, the second one, then the third one. Look how the sounds go thicker and bassier. This fundamental is also valid for the 3 wounded and coated strings. The fourth one, the 5th, then the 6th. Again, 4th one is the thinner among these 3 strings, 5 a little bit thicker, and 6 is the thicker of them all. Look how the sound goes bassier again. Thicker and more bassier. The second fundamental is the material of the strings. The first 3 is nylon, and 3 strings above have nickel or chrome wounding and coating, which make these 3 up strings more heavier in the context of material and weight. The more heavier the string goes, the more bassier the sound gets. Let's have a try. As I mentioned, third string is the thickest of the nylon strings. Fourth string is the thinner among the nickel wounded strings, but it has a bassier sound versus the third one. Listen carefully. Why? Because it weighs more than the third string. The third fundamental is changing the string length temporarily, and this is what the frets and the fretboard doing. Each of these parts called frets, and these metal or aluminum lines called fret rods. When you hold one of these parts or frets by any of your 4 fingers, what you do exactly is reducing the length of the string versus its default length, which is from this support to this support. The right hand support called bridge and the left hand support called nut. This is the default length of the strings. When we hold the frets, we are reducing this length, and the more less the length goes, the more thinner the sound gets. Let's try. This is default length. Look how the sound goes thinner. What is happening? The length of the string is changing and reducing. See, the sound goes thinner. This is valid for all 6 strings. The third fundamental is why we can play many songs, many notes easily on guitar. Let's go for the fourth and final fundamental for this instrument, and that is nothing but the string tension. We can tighten or loosen all 6 strings by these tuning pegs. Each of these tuning pegs are connected to one of the strings, and by turning it, we can tighten or loosen the strings. The more tense the string goes, the more thinner the sound gets. And also worth mentioning in this episode, we have standard tensions for all the 6 strings, and one of the most used one is this. Every one of the 6 strings have their unique sound and their unique note, and that is because of their turning pegs fixed on that tension that we want. Let's go for the different part names that guitar has. The upper part called headstock or head. These, as I mentioned, are tuning pegs. This left side support of the strings called nut. This is fretboard, board that contains the frets, and also called neck. This is neck joint, the joint that connects soundboard to the neck. And this, as I mentioned, is soundboard, the board that amplifies the guitar sound. This is called the saddle, and this white one, the right hand support of the strings, called bridge. Okay, the last part of this episode, let's talk about how the sound amplifies in the nylon guitars. When we pick or play one of the strings, for example, the 6th string, the string vibrates, okay? The vibration goes to the nut and to the bridge. The bridge is connected to the saddle, and then the saddle is connected to the soundboard, okay? The vibration of the string by this way goes to the soundboard, and then soundboard vibrates like the string. The strings have very tiny surface, and when they vibrate, that tiny surface contains the air molecules, and then that vibration pushes that air molecules, and then we hear the vibration sound. But as I mentioned, that surface is very small. What soundboard does is that the soundboard has much bigger surface, and that bigger surface contains much more air molecules. And by vibrating that soundboard, that much more air molecules pushes the sound to our ears. And that is how the sound amplifies in a guitar instrument. Okay, this is the end of first episode. Hope you understand each part individually. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments and wait for the next episodes to be uploaded. See you next time. Bye.